What's goody, everybody? It's your boys. Welcome to episode 3 of the 2 Kill Time podcast. You know me, I'm Kane. This is Travis and TJ, as y'all already well know. And I hope everyone had a banger of a week. We are recording this on Sunday of the week prior to episode 2. Again, you guys know we normally record on Thursdays, but our schedules didn't work out for that. So that's kind of why we're doing that. Yeah, it was a little hectic. Being in the car business, you kind of have to work on a whim sometimes. But I do want to take this moment to say thank you guys for pumping up episode 2. We think episode 2 was far and beyond better than episode 1. A little bit more comfort, a little bit more get to know us episode, and a little bit just talking more. It felt a lot more natural than forced. And again, we just want to thank y'all for doing that. And I want to boast up our stats if y'all don't mind. Y'all mind?
Flex it.
All right.
Flex it.
So for episode 2, we had about the same amount of impact on everything. We had about 60 views on YouTube, 42 listens on Spotify, and 40 listens on Apple Podcasts over the course of the first 4 days of it being out. It being Sunday, again, normally we would only have 24 hours, so we had a little bit more. But I also want to say, combined for the first 2 episodes, we have had over 350 listens over 3 different continents. And that's fucking wild.
That's sick.
3 continents are out there listening to just us 3 talk, bro.
That's dope.
How crazy is that?
Dope.
So, hello from the United States and North America. Hello from South America. And hello to Europe. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day out there because that is honestly insane. Going through some of the feedback we got from episode 2, because we did have kind of a little bit of a hectic episode 2, I think. It wasn't really hectic. We just kind of went on this tangent about animals and would you rathers and whatever. Some of the things people wanted and missed from episode 1 was a little bit more about our moving experiences, and I kind of do want to get into that. So that's going to be our first segment of this episode. So we're going to talk a little bit about our moving experiences because TJ's moved from all over, and Travis just recently moved, and I've recently moved. So why don't we go ahead and talk about that guys?
I mean, you guys have moved the most recently, I guess.
For sure.
Travis, probably, right?
Yep. I would say.
Moved up to Plattsburgh, 2 hours north of where we're from in Mayfield. Well, me and Kane, anyways. Been up here for almost a year now. Actually, over a year.
Wow.
What made you and Lindsay decide on Plattsburgh?
Lindsay moved out here for work, so she's from Maine.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys know. For people that don't, she moved out here for work, and we started dating May of last year, and she offered for me to come up here and try to be successful, get my life started, and it's going well so far. Everything seems to be going the right way. So,
No doubt. Do you guys have any family up there? Or?
We got nothing. I mean, we've made.
We got nothing.
No.
I mean, heard that, bro. Heard that.
Just with mine and Lindsay's personalities, we've met a decent amount of people up here, so we try to stay busy with that too.
For sure. And I mean, where we went to college, there's still a decent amount of people that live out in Plattsburgh or would commute out to Canton and stuff, and so a lot of people you met there live out in that area, so that's pretty sweet. And you did mention that one of your friends just recently bought a house. If you want to give him a shout out and congratulations, you can do that as well.
Yeah, Tristan, I hope you listened to this episode, man. I know you didn't get a chance to last week because you just bought a house, so good for you. I better not catch you lacking again, though.
Yeah, bro. Like,
What is that? I don't care. He bought a house.
You don't have an hour, bro? You don't have an hour?
Yeah,
You're telling me you ain't got...
Comes a trash Tristan set.
Yeah, like don't be selfish, bro. You know how it is.
Yeah, bro. Come on now.
Gotta stay grinding.
Yeah, dude. We were talking about it yesterday. How he had bought a house because you guys went over there. And you were talking about when we were playing Rocket that when he bought the house, it's an older farmhouse and stuff, and he got like all this maple like syrup stuff, like equipment to like farm maple.
What?
Yeah, so it was an old maple sugar farm, and it has a bunch of maple trees there. He's literally got this whole setup for like machinery and stuff, so he could start it back up if he wants to. I think he's going to try to in the spring.
Man, you gotta
That's
love
fire.
upstate New York, man. Like, you can just
What?
buy a house and be like, yeah, it comes with all this maple syrup equipment, and you can just
There you
throw it all together. But,
Dude, roughly for a 2-hour radius of this place, there's only 2 major maple syrup makers.
I feel like that's a high amount because I couldn't name one.
What?
Like,
Like,
are they,
are you talking
get-
like?
the question I'm trying to find is like, do they harvest to be a supplier for a name brand or do they just bottle their own and sell it?
No,
Yeah.
so like 2 name brand, but they're like locally made. There's one for New York and one for Vermont that's sold in New York.
Oh, wow. That's
That
kind
sounds
of
like-
wild.
Some serious comp.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to need a good head start to get going.
You get some,
Yeah, but-
some rusty maple tools in the shed.
That's what I'm
I mean, it
saying,
looked
like,
pretty new. I mean, Travis sent me a picture.
Oh, I
It
didn't
looks
see
like
it,
some pretty
but-
stout equipment. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
he could be ready in probably a year.
yeah.
Not that I have any idea of what I'm looking at. Just I'm not a maple syrup equipment expert, but
No idea, bro.
it looked pretty decent.
But dude, all I'm saying is, like, congrats to him. I hope he does well. And like I said, tune in, dude. Don't be selfish. Give it a like.
Yeah, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Share with your friends.
Yeah, bro.
Like, I don't know what else to say other than like you got
Like,
an
as
hour.
as you're cleaning your house, just go on Spotify, put it on the Bluetooth speaker, and get it rolling.
Press play.
I don't care if you got it turned all the way down because you don't want to hear us talk. Just make it
fine.
press play.
If it's streaming, we're good, baby. Don't even worry about
All
it.
right. Anyways, though, Tristan, I like you, but you're not going to take up this whole episode.
Yeah. All right, TJ. So you've had more moves than anybody in this podcast, or pretty much not really anybody that I know, but you've moved a decent amount.
Dude, my number's up there.
It's pretty high.
As weird as this sounds, though, B Spa was always like home base.
Yeah.
So it was
Someplace
like
you always
B
came back.
Spa, bounce out somewhere, back to B Spa, bounce out somewhere else, and it kind of kept doing that my entire life.
Yeah.
It was weird.
So obviously you said B Spa is kind of like your home base, and you most of your high school career you went to B Spa, right? And then you went to Mayfield for a couple years. You go to any other high schools and stuff?
No, actually, I went to see when I was younger is when it was off the walls. Like kindergarten, I went to Shen, which is just Clifton Park.
Yeah.
And then first and second grade, I went to Ballston Spa. And then I think third, I was in Rochester.
Ew.
I don't know the name of the school. And then I think fourth, I went back to Shen.
Damn, so
And then
you went to
fifth-
like 5 or 6
Yeah.
different elementary schools.
Bro, I was bouncing. And then fifth, I was back at B Spa. And then all of middle school was Ballston Spa. And then freshman year and the first half of sophomore year until the last day of basketball season was Mayfield.
Wow, I feel like you were at Mayfield for way longer than that.
Nah, dude, freshman and half of sophomore year.
Wow.
But he was always around because, like, we all got that close to so quick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the time when we were all hanging out and we went out and picked. Me and you went out, I believe in the Saab, to go pick up TJ just to come back to Mayfield to play basketball.
All the way, like,
Yeah, I can't
at my
remember.
house.
Yeah,
Something like that sounds familiar.
yeah, I remember. I can't remember the whole story, but it was like we drove all the way out there just to come back and play basketball, and we had something else playing that night, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, man, you moved a ton.
I've lived all over the place. And even like when I say I bounced back to B Spa, it was never like the same place.
Yeah, it was just in that remote area.
It was just in Ballston Spa still.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've lived in here, my grandma's, Lilith Fair. Oh my god, dude, I've lived in like 6 or 7 apartments across Ballston Spa.
Wow. Holy
Bro,
bro.
so for the younger years, I mean, I have to assume that's definitely tough. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, I was
that's
a-
your
I was a weird
development
kid.
stages and shit.
I was a weird kid. That's
Yeah,
for
like how do
sure.
you? It's got to be really hard to build like that socialism type or social traits because I
I'll
mean,
be honest, it's one of my toxic traits, but I learned how to almost change my personality to fit in with all of these different people.
yeah, of course.
And that's kind of how I've done it.
Yeah.
So, like, which isn't good.
No, it's definitely.
If a bunch of people are hanging out, I don't know what to do.
There's
I
just
don't know
too
how to
much,
act.
going on in your
Yeah.
wavelengths. I gotcha. Well, you're obviously in college right now. We've talked about that before on this podcast. And
Starts in 2 days.
you're off campus. What'd you say?
College, my first classes are in 2 days.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you're starting really late. Wow, a lot of colleges have been going for like a week or two.
Yeah. A lot of kids have been living there for like 2
yeah.
weeks.
So you said you're going to Studio Adirondack. Where are you guys living right now? Are you in an apartment with just you and Lily, or are you guys?
No, not yet. That's in the cards, but a little bit later down the line. We were thinking
Gotcha.
probably a little past Christmas time, like really start looking.
Gotcha. So how far is your commute to Studio Adirondack then?
Deep, rather. It
I mean,
is
like how far? Because I drive an hour.
45. It's like 45.
Yeah, dude. Like I get that fully. I mean, the good news is it's like you just have to go for classes. So I'm sure like there's days where you have back to back and you get to go home early, and then there's other days where you have huge gaps. So you're just kind of sitting on campus all day.
Yeah, luckily because I commute and they know I live in Ballston Spa, I have Monday, Wednesday up at the Queensbury campus, and then I have Tuesday, Thursday at the Saratoga campus.
Oh, it's kind of sick though, because then you get like 3-day weekends every weekend.
Yeah, I don't. Have
That's
any
fire.
class on
That's
Friday.
fire. That
Yeah.
like we talked about that before on the podcast, bro. That is the most fire part about college is like your junior or senior year, really. Sometimes your sophomore year. Like for me, I think one of my semesters my sophomore year was like I only had classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I was off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then like my junior year, I only had classes on Tuesday, Thursday. So I had a 4-day weekend and then a break. Like I could do whatever I wanted and just chill all day, bro. Like I didn't have to do anything for like a week. It was
See, it's
great.
not even. But nowadays, it's not even really a friggin' day off because if I don't
Yeah.
have class, I'll be at the gas
gotta-
station.
yeah, you gotta
know?
be working.
Hi, welcome to Cumbies.
Do you say Cumbies or do you say Cumberland Farms?
Nah, I legit dead ass just say hello.
Do you greet everybody that comes in? Be
I
honest.
have to. Yeah, no, I have to.
No chance, dude. That
Well,
was
they
like one of
tell
our
me
rules in retail. Nah, I never
quote
said hi to
unquote have
anybody.
to. Bro, I hate people. Tell me why I have all these retail jobs, but I can't stand people.
Bro, I
I'm
mean,
so
like
good
nobody
at, like,
really
the
can, but like
fake-
retail is probably one of the easier jobs if you take away the customers.
Dude, I got that like Chris Paul type of fake laugh. You know what I mean? Like I could be
I have
like,
no idea what you mean.
You don't remember that when he was laughing at Steve Kerr?
Yes. The look on your Travis's face when I was like, nah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, man, like retail is really fucking easy if you take out the customers. Like,
Oh yeah.
like you.
Paying, bro.
I mean, I know, bro, but think about it. Like, I was an overnight stalker at Walmart for a summer, and like that job was 20 times easier than working during the day. Like, if they were like, "Yo, we're moving you to days," I would have been out. I would have been no, no. I could not. I don't know how Matt does it. I don't know how Matt works at Walmart, man.
Bro,
Me
just
either,
because I know we're
bro.
on, just because I know we're on the work thing right now, and I know this is one of our topics, let's talk about work ethics for a minute,
Okay.
and like, goals and stuff like that.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
All right.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Shit. Put myself on the spot.
You came in hot. Why
Yeah.
did you change the subject? Thought you had something.
Yeah, dude, it was on my mind. I was like, all right, I know this is a point. I can point it out.
Just got to find a little bit better segue, buddy.
Yeah, just a little bit. I like the energy though.
Yeah, me too.
Good.
Go ahead.
So, I'm a car salesman right now, like Kane. I just started about 2 months ago. Work ethic wise, on my days off, I was also doing yard work for Lindsay's boss, working like 7 days a week. I never really like had a break and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's tough. 7 days a week.
Literally,
Yikes.
dude, like,
You got to make
I
money
mean-
how you can make money.
Yes, sir.
yeah, and once I started to see some money finally started saving up in my bank account, I was like, wow, I need more of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's addictive, bro.
It is.
Once you start to see minor payoff in anything, like I don't know how people can be lazy.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what drives me. Is just being able to have money, go and do stuff with Lindsay, buy stuff for Lindsay, buy stuff,
Yeah.
for my family, all that type of stuff.
I
So
just
Yeah.
like buying shit, man.
yeah,
I just like
Yeah,
having
like
the
hot
ability.
take. Whoever said like money doesn't buy happiness clearly hasn't
Lied.
clearly hasn't had the opportunity to just get that like no stress DoorDash order and be like, man, how am I gonna be able to afford the next time I need to eat, or how am I gonna afford? Like clearly, you haven't experienced a non-stress
Haven't had that
DoorDash order.
freedom.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's where it's at. And honestly, like you said, Travis, that's where work ethic comes from for me. Like we talked about it, I think in the first or second episode of the podcast, was going to college. I knew, holy shit, this is going to be on me. Like I need to make it worth it. And like, that's really where it comes down to work ethic is if I'm going to succeed, it's on me. I need to put in the time. I need to work. I need to put my ass on the line every day and go out there and make money. And we're obviously not just talking about kids these days. Like we're talking about our generation because our generation's the one that's looked at as that. And I know it goes all the way back to so on and so forth, ancient Rome and ancient Europe and so on and so forth about them. Saying, "Oh, kids don't do anything these days." Like there's recorded statements in paper in ink of adults saying that about kids, and we have to be the generation that stops that. Like I don't want to sit there and talk shit about kids every day because we were all there. We were all 16, 17, 18, just not wanting to work, not wanting to do anything. And then we started to get a paycheck and we were like, damn, this is good. This is what I want.
Yeah, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, like a little bit of stress free. I get to go to Taco Bell when I want, get to buy that Nike shirt when I want. Like that the biggest thing for me as a kid was always was going to the mall and be like, man, I got $200. That means I can get a Nike shirt, Nike shorts, a pair of Elite socks, and that's it. Because Nike shorts are $45, the shirts are fucking $50, the socks are $20. Like that was it. That's the money I had, and maybe I could get a nice pair of like Dunk Lows or whatever, like just a free like Adidas skate shoe, whatever. Yeah. And we talked about it. Go ahead.
Once you see the reward, you know what I mean? Like the outcome of busting your ass, doing whatever at that age, probably like washing dishes or something, but still.
Yeah, but like that, like a washing dishes job or like working at Tractor Supply like I did, or
that
painting.
That'll humble you.
Yeah, like that'll really does. Not only that, most of the time that's a part-time job, so you're doing like 20, 30 hours a week. You're driving yourself, and it's usually the only place you drive besides high school, unless you go out to do something with a couple friends. So like, and back then gas was cheap as shit, so you could go anywhere. You'd be making $150 a week, or let's say $500-600 a month. You were rolling in cash, bro. Like,
yeah.
I mean that's like when I was 16. I didn't have anything to spend money on except for going to the movies with friends or like just doing dumb shit at an arcade. Like, so it really puts into perspective. Like kids like Jake, Haley's cousin, really good friend of mine. I said it before and I'll say it a million times. He has probably the best work ethic out of anybody under the age of 20 that I'll probably ever know. Like, Grant, he's just like us. We say, oh, we don't want to go to work. We don't want to do this. How many people wake up every day and be like, yeah, I'm ready to go to work today? Yeah, work, yeah. Like, there's a reason why work's a 4-letter word and fun is a 3-letter word.
I'll usually only do that on my first day starting a job, and then after the first hour, I'm like, yikes, what?
Yeah, dude.
Yikes.
And it really depends on the optimism in the car business. Like, yeah, I got 2 customers coming today. Let's go. Like, it's going to be a good day. And then you flop both your customers by noon, and you're like, fuck, I got to sit here and be pissed for 7 more hours.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to just making money. Once you get that taste of money, I mean, DJ, you almost contemplated not going back to college because you were making like $1,200 a week.
I did, bro. Dude, I'm not even kidding. I talked to like my whole freaking family, friends. I was like, I'm making bank. But then the dude who like owned it moved the company to mad far away. So
I think that anyone should get a job as early as they can, whether it be washing dishes or like helping their grandparents around their house, like not necessarily
Something.
chores, but like a
Chores.
job where you're no, I said not necessarily chores, but a job where you're dedicated to go there every few days. Like you're supposed to be there at 9. You're going to be there from 9 to 2. You're going to be there 4 days a week helping your grandma. Like just little things like that when I was 14, 15, 16 really helped me establish, holy shit, like this is going to pay off in the long run. Because not only am I helping my grandparents and spending time with them, like I'm earning money, or just things like that, like going to help clean out a garage, or how many times like Travis, you guys came over and helped me clean out my grandparents' garage when we were getting ready to work on my truck, and we ended up never even working on the truck before I had time to leave. And
Right.
I mean, that was awesome. Like, it was still fun, like seeing things like my grandfather used to work on, my dad has just laying around. Like you have to find ways to reward yourself in order to have a good work ethic. And if there isn't a reward in it, I don't know, other than just being a good person, I don't know a lot of people that just go out and work to work. Like that, no one just does everything for charity unless they're looking for something. And yes, there's a lot of people out there that do charity work, and we have talked about how we want to give back to as many people as we can. And that isn't for clout, but the people that go out there and do those good things are stellar people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's work ethic. That's going out there just to be a good person. And it simply comes down to, I think everybody should start that small routine, like 13, 14, 15, get in that rhythm of learning. And I'm not saying like work your life away, but if you get that work ethic when you're 13, 14, 15, when you're 16, 17, 18, you start to get this mentality of an entrepreneurship to where not only like, so a big thing for me is video games, and you guys know that, and this isn't a segue into video games, but if you can make money playing video games now. You can be a professional gamer, you can just be a content creator. And seeing Jake at that young age, at 10, 11, 12, 13, play these games and being like, holy shit, there's a payoff if I put my fucking time in and work my ass off. And now he's taking that and adapting it to his job and adapting it to soccer in high school and adapting it to his scholastic achievements is where work ethic starts at 12, 13, 14 to bring into your later stages in life. You know what I'm saying? It really comes down to that.
Yeah, not even just the work ethic. I think it like builds your character, like of who you are as a person too.
Yeah, it really does, because if you can set goals and achievements for yourself, it makes things a lot easier to work at and to do. It makes things a lot easier to go out there and wake up every day to go to work. Because it's not good to look at work and be like, man, I just got to be here so I can make rent. But if you look at it as, okay, if I do this today, I'm one step closer to not having to do this job, or I'm one step closer to earning a bigger paycheck than to just pay rent, or so on and so forth. It really builds your self-esteem in terms of finding a goal. Like you said, it's more than just work ethic. It's more than that, if that makes sense.
And one more factor for me personally in working a lot and trying to get money is I have this mindset that I want to have the best credit score I can get. Like, for some reason, that's what drives me every day. I wake up and say, how am I going to, increase myself today?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, like, I know 850 is the highest you can get. Like, I want to be there. You know what I mean?
Actually, you can have higher than an 850 now. I mean,
really?
I've seen 900s. I've had two 900s. One was like a 901, but it's rare. You can have over a 900 now, from what I've seen.
For some reason, dude, I don't have a rhyme or reason for it, but that's my goals.
Yeah, I mean, and it should be everybody's goal to have a solid credit score, because you make those payments and stuff. You can walk into any bank and get a loan for anything. You're trying to start a business. Guess what? You can't if you have a shit credit score.
Exactly. Because
that bank's not going to trust you. You're gonna have to put something down as collateral either way. But the less collateral, or the higher your credit score, the less collateral you have to put down in terms of anything. So when you buy a car, that's a down payment. When you try and get a house, you have to, most of the time you have to put a down payment. Sometimes you don't. But if you're trying to start a business with a $500,000 loan, most of the time you have to put like big shit down if you have a shit credit score, like the title to your house, the title to your car. Like, you have to put large collateral down on a loan that size for people with a rough credit score. And there's ways to obviously go out there and get a better credit score. And this isn't me as a car salesman telling you this, but one of the best ways to build credit score is buying a car.
Yeah, facts.
You make payments for 12 months straight. If you've never had an auto loan, this is a fun tip for you guys. Whoever doesn't know this, TJ, you might not know this. Travis, you might not know this. If you've never had an auto loan on a vehicle through an established source of credit, so like a credit union or a national bank, your first auto loan, if you hold it to 13 months, so you get an auto loan on a car, you have a car for 13 months, you're going to get, it's almost guaranteed, if you make every one of those payments on time, you're going to get at least a 10-point bump in credit score.
Nice.
Really?
10 points doesn't seem like much, but when you're 18 and you have a 650 because you haven't ever had anything on your credit score, 670 seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's not like financial advice. That's something I've noticed in the car business that happens every time. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing I know I didn't get to talk about before we got into work ethic was my move. And that was one of the biggest factors in our move was coming down here. We obviously didn't know what we were getting into. We had never been in this area. So moving 1,100 miles away from New York to Nashville, Tennessee, where we were living, we didn't see our apartment. We had never met anybody. The only person we knew down here was my cousin Beth, who we love dearly, but I've only met a few times in my life before I moved down here. But she welcomed us with open arms. We got our apartment. Our apartment wasn't in the best neighborhood, the first apartment that we had. It was kind of in, I wouldn't say like the slums or anything like that, because it wasn't. It was a nice little apartment, but it had its issues, and it wasn't in the best area. We had to talk about literally within 500 feet of our apartment that there was a shooting at the first month and a half we were there. Yeah, so it's a good thing we had a gated community, but it's still, it was one of those things, you know what I mean? It was one of those, oh man, we got to lock our doors and stuff. Like some things you're just not.
Bulletproof?
No. But how are they going to get through the gate?
I don't know. You better duck and run.
I mean, we are at the back of our apartment complex. It was a garden style, so it was like a bunch of different buildings instead of one tall one. It was at the back, so
around the corner.
Yeah, we were fine.
Yeah,
but that really played a huge factor. Was just us not knowing what we were getting into, whether we were going to like it or not. But we were here for a year, and it didn't matter whether we liked our jobs, we liked the city or not. Luckily, we did. I hated my first job. Haley loved it. She was a preschool teacher, and I was a door-to-door salesman. I got out of that and got into car sales. And it wasn't hard the first, it was hard the first like 3 months. What's your question? I assume you have a question.
I just didn't want to cut you off. What was the reason you guys didn't see your apartment? Was it like
we had never been down here? Like we saw pictures online, but it was completely different. Okay. So we had saw pictures online, of course, but like if you go on it now, like if I can't remember what the place was called, but if you go on the website now and you look at pictures, they're two completely different things. Like it's a totally different apartment. Yeah,
probably glamorized all up.
Yeah, it was a totally different apartment. But like I said, the first few months down here were rough, and I mean that's just me being honest. Getting started in the car business and not necessarily relying on Haley's income the first month, but I mean, if you know anything about the car business, you don't get paid if you don't sell cars. My first month, I only sold 3.5 cars. Second month, I sold 7, so on and so forth, and it went higher and higher. Like I got better as time went on, but when I first started in the car business, like it was a little tough on us. And now, luckily, we moved into this much nicer place. We live in a nicer part of town. We live a third of a mile from fucking Nissan Stadium, 7/10 of a mile from Broadway. Like we're in a good spot now, but what it took to get here comes back to the work ethic, which is why I circled back to this. It is very important for people at a young age to experience hardship. And I'm not saying like, oh, I had it really, really rough. Like it was like we were starving, but it was like little things. You move into your first apartment, we had no furniture. We didn't have a kitchen table for 9 months. Like we didn't have a sofa. Like we didn't have shit in our house. It was we were eating ramen noodles and Chef Boyardee, which again we were used to because we were doing it in college. But
you're already doing that. Yeah.
It's like, man, how many more fucking times can I eat beefaroni? How many more times can I eat a fucking can of tuna fish? Like, and I still love that shit. But my dad will be the first one to tell you he lived off of that shit in college to the point where he cannot smell a can of Chef Boyardee in the house. He will start to gag. Like it bothers him that much because that's all he ate.
Bother me that much.
But luckily I can still eat it, and not that I think anybody should, because it's very not nutrient for you, nutritious for you. But that's why I circle back to it, because if you don't have that, holy fuck, I just want a steak. Holy fuck, I just want to go out and have a fucking cheeseburger and a milkshake. If you don't have that, you're never gonna like feel like you earn anything.
Yeah, facts.
And again,
also,
go ahead.
If you want to get something extra on your plate or something.
Yeah, like, let me get that side of fries. Let me get a large fry instead of a small. Like,
yeah, and then they say like, well, that's a little bit extra. Is that fine? Then you're like, you know what? Yeah, it is fine.
And again, it's not. I'm not trying to say, oh, that's the hardships like of first world countries. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm saying, it's more of experiencing the mentality of, man, I just want this one thing right now, and I need to work my ass off so I can just go out to dinner one time this month. So I can take Haley to get her a new pair of shoes. Like, shit like that, bro. Like, and this is going to sound dumb, but Jake, at that young age, getting involved in competitive gaming was huge for him, because he saw the fucking benefits of, if I work my ass off, I can fucking get to that next level. Yeah. You know what I mean? Again, it sounds really stupid because, yeah, we haven't made any money off of that type of thing, but it instilled in him at 12, like, bro, if I put like an extra hour into this a day, I can be pretty fucking decent and have a chance at making money. Or I can be pretty decent in terms of I can beat all my fucking friends and talk about it at school, and like just that benefit of it. And yeah. I think it comes back to the work ethic. If you're willing to put the time in, you can make money. Yeah. And it takes that mentality of, man, I just wish I could get an extra side of fucking tater tots. I wish I could get that third side of mac and cheese when I get barbecue, or like that little shit, bro. It's the little things in life that really fucking matter.
It does.
Like, I grew up, my parents never bought name brand. I don't think they do still. Like chips, anything like that. Just because it's an extra bucks you're saving, like whatever. And we had a lot of people living in our house. We didn't grow up poor. We grew up very high middle class, I would say. And that was just something, like, as a kid, I was like, man, I want to be like grown enough to make my own money and just be like, yeah, I bought the fucking Doritos at the store today. I bought the actual Cinnamon Toast Crunch today.
I bought Cheez-Its, man.
Yeah, not cheese crackers, Cheez-Its, bro. Like, I brought it, bro.
Yeah,
and
bro.
That sounds dumb, but it was like, that was one thing when I was young that I said, man, I really just want to buy Doritos.
Yo, speaking of those off-brand shit, do you remember those giant ass bags of cereal, dude? It'd be like a dog. It'd be like
a dog bag, like a 50-pound bag.
Dude.
Yeah.
And you would just slug that thing over your shoulder and have cereal
Mom.
For like a
go to the counter.
Months, dude.
Yeah. But like, and that's what I mean. It's just like little shit like that isn't harmful, and it obviously tastes essentially the same. Like, it has no differences. But it was just one of those things when I was a kid that I was like, I want to buy the Doritos. I want to buy fucking Frosted Flakes. I don't want to buy fucking Icy Flakes. Like, just shit like that really just stuck with me to make me be like, I just got to work that extra little bit. And again, that might be the fat kid coming out at me, like, talking about food in this situation. But that's just really where it came from, man.
Yeah, dude.
Let's kind of segue into our next little segment here. One of the things people want to hear more about, because I do live in Tennessee and I don't talk to a lot of people from back home, is kind of the state differences. And that's a question I kind of have for you guys. What do you think would be drastically different, or is drastically different, from where you guys live in upstate New York to where I live here in Nashville, Tennessee?
That's tough.
What's no Stewart's like?
It sucks. It's really hard.
Dude, Stewie's is the greatest
like,
thing
you have
ever,
7-Eleven and like all that. Again, living in the metropolitan area, you don't have like those down home, not really down home, but you don't have those smaller franchises. Stewart's being just in upstate New York and so on and so forth. And some parts of Vermont, like some parts of Pennsylvania, I think, you don't have those places where I'm at. Maybe on the outskirts you might have them. And you got like your mom and pop like gas stations, but no place down here has like, oh, you can walk in and just cop a half gallon of ice cream, or yo, let me get like one of those fresh cheeseburgers. Or even like, You look at like New York City, you can't just walk into a deli and be like, "Yo, let me get a sausage, egg, and cheese real quick." You got to go to like an actual place, or you got to go to like a gas station deli, which, I mean, I don't mind doing. But I just want to be able to go in, be like, "Yo, let me grab a half pint of this, a half pint of this. Let me grab a loaf of Freihofer's bread. Let me grab some cookies. Let me grab a 6-pack. And oh yeah, let me snag like 2 cheeseburgers while I'm up there."
Bro, I've bought entire pizzas from Stewart's, bro.
Yeah, same. My parents used to
I
do
just
that
gonna
like once a
sound
week.
mad bummy, but their chicken bacon
It's
ranch
fire.
is
It's fire.
Dude, it's
gas.
I love their cheeseburgers.
Oh
Travis,
my
how many
God.
times we stopped like on college and just be like, "Yo, let me grab 2 cheeseburgers and a Mountain Dew real quick."
Solid.
Dude, and
Every
I
time.
love those chocolate dairy shake things, dude.
Oh,
and the,
fire. Fire,
Anyone
dude.
not in New York is gonna be like, the fuck are
Yeah.
they talking about?
I
Yeah.
word, dude, like take.
Everyone else is
God bless
drooling.
Europe and South America right now.
Yeah.
Dude, like, I'm going to get one before I go to work tomorrow. I made an executive decision.
I used to love their breakfast sandwiches, like the egg witch that was on like the Kaiser roll. Bro, those suckers were like, for everyone's not watching
the
on
other
YouTube,
day.
I mean, you're talking like the Kaiser rolls, like 6 inches in diameter, like
they were
huge
fat, bro.
sandwiches, dude. One of those and you're chilling. Like you didn't need anything else for breakfast.
Yeah.
I used to cop one of those when I was young, and then the sausage, egg, and cheese, of course, or bacon, egg, and cheese. And then I would get one of the strawberry milks or the dairy shake thing, the chocolate one. Yeah, those are where it's at,
Go
man.
together, bro.
They're just fire. Like it's the combo,
Just
bro.
fire.
It's like Doritos and Mountain Dew, man. Like
have a-
you know what else goes really good together like a combo? Arizona iced tea and the TKT
Arizona.
podcast. Cheers to that, bro. Like not sponsored. Hashtag sponsor us. Arizona iced tea.
Sponsor
We
us.
love you. You're the best, and we drink you every day. Anyways,
That's
what's
3 for 3 Arizona.
yeah, just
saying.
just throwing that out there.
Mentioned you
Free
3 times
publicity.
now.
What's some other differences you guys think we have?
Weather.
Yeah.
I can imagine the weather is mad.
I mean,
different.
yeah, of course. I mean,
Probably not right now, but
it's still like 75, 80 most of the day. Like it,
that's pretty much, yeah.
you know what I mean? And it doesn't get too cold at night. It stays right around there.
It's been dropping here.
Yeah, no,
It
we're
gets pretty cold
we're
at
probably
night.
like 80, 85 during the day with like a nice breeze. We've had rain the last few days, and then at night it'll drop to like 65, 75 and be like a comfortable temp.
It'll be like 70s and drop to like 60 here.
Yeah,
Dude,
I love
honestly, I
that.
just think it's more busy where you are.
I mean, for
Yeah,
sure,
there's
yeah,
just-
being in Nashville compared to Mayfield.
I mean, yeah.
That is
Other
one
than
thing
that,
I do think about is like being in Mayfield, you're always having to drive 15, 20 minutes to go anywhere, and you're always like, man, I don't want to drive out to Johnstown. Man, I don't want to drive 45
That
minutes to Albany to go to the
sucked.
mall. Like here, it's 10 minutes, but it's not 10 minutes. It's 2 miles. It's 10 minutes because of traffic. But there's just so much more to do, man. Like
Right.
so we just renewed our lease here, so we'll be here for another year. We'll be. I think we're good through August or September. Yeah, thank goodness for that. But after that, we're gonna be looking at getting a house. We don't want to buy a house in Nashville. I don't think we're gonna buy a house in Davidson. We're gonna try and buy a house like in the outlying counties or outline. Yeah, just to that because I mean that's the way we grew up. Like I don't mind driving 30 minutes, 20 minutes to get to the city or taking an Uber because I mean, we don't go out too often. The biggest benefit to living here is we're so close to the stadium that we can experience those things when we want to and we don't have to worry about parking. We don't have to worry about parking wherever we go because we can park here. And again, like
That is nice.
yeah, that's the biggest thing is you don't have to pay for parking. You can DoorDash essentially anything. Like anytime you're in the mood for literally anything, you can just DoorDash it to your house. And that's Chipotle, like
That I'm jealous of, dude.
and there's so
There's
many more
nothing
food
around
choices,
here.
bro. If I had never came here, I would have never known like I like Thai food or I like fucking Vietnamese food, like Greek food.
Never
I would have
tried
never
it.
known. Bro, Thai food's so fire. Like
Never tried Thai food, but it
it's so
sounds
fire.
scary.
Have you ever had like actual pad Thai?
No.
Oh
Like,
my god.
none of it.
I didn't know pad Thai had nuts. Just if anybody's allergic to nuts, that's why I said that. Don't get pad
I
Thai
am
if you're
not.
allergic to nuts, because not go
Nope.
well.
Okay, good to know.
Kane, I gotta take a second here and give you a sincere congratulations, dude.
For what? I didn't even do nothing.
Like, just even looking in and talking about getting a house, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's
me and you grow up like close to each other.
yeah,
He's a whole man.
indeed.
Yeah,
We're
dude. Like,
grown ass adults, buddy. It's crazy to think about.
Whoa! What is this?
I mean, you're a grown ass adult, dude. You're what? Fucking 22, 21.
I'm 20, brother.
You're gonna be 21 in like a fucking month.
Yeah.
So,
it's like,
I mean, I would say you're an adult, buddy.
yeah,
all right. I guess I'll give up the glory days.
Another segment. I think that's. I mean, there's a little bit more state differences we can get into, but I don't want to be talking about that forever. I guess I'll say one more that really upsets Haley is the whole thing of apple cider just like isn't a thing down here. Like
Really?
you can't go to Dunkin' and get like a hot apple cider.
damn, what?
Yeah, like it's just not a thing. There's no what Dunkin' will have like apple cider donuts, just because they're like mass like whatever. But you can't just go into a store and be like, let me get apple cider, let me get an apple cider donut. Like Haley is very upset about that. Like that is one thing that it sucks.
We got a bunch of little farms.
That's
of
the other good
families
thing
that
about
got
living where we live, man,
orchards.
was like all that shit. Let alone you had apple orchard, pumpkin patches. Like we generally had to ask around and be like, where the fuck is the closest pumpkin patch? Like if we want to go to a corn maze or something like that, that isn't 2 hours away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we had Rogers Orchard is 15 minutes from the house. The pumpkin patch out in Fonda is 15 minutes from the house. Like that's the only good thing about living where we lived in New York. There's so much nature and shit if you're into that, and like motorsports and fucking the lake and so on and so forth. There's just so much shit in upstate New York that there is to do that there isn't in Nashville, of course.
That is definitely one advantage is like with being in Boston Spa, like I can go from like here and then I could drive 30 minutes one way and it's like country, and I can drive 30 minutes the other way and it's city,
Yeah.
and it's just vast
Boston
different.
Spa is a generally good hub, to be honest. One thing, this is weird, I don't know what just made me think about this, is like Galway. How many times does anybody just go to Galway unless it's for like going to play sports? Like
Not
I had
once.
never passed through it, maybe, but I don't think
know,
I've ever
I've
just
always
been to
passed through
Galway.
it.
What is in Galway?
Um,
I couldn't tell you one thing other than like a high school.
the high school.
Yeah, like I don't even know if they
Yeah,
have a
I
fire
don't know
department.
I was just gonna say they have
Probably not.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Travis has that information on lock.
Thank you
Yeah, thank goodness
for the
Travis here for
Galway
that.
update. Did you guys know Dylan? Dylan used to live in Galway. Believe it or not.
So we could ask Dylan. We could ask Dylan what's in Galway.
Yeah.
Good.
He's got to know. There's got to be something to do in Galway.
Like what?
I don't think there is, bro.
I don't think so either.
Like on the top of my head, nothing.
I honestly, like, I can't think of one thing that, like, because I have friends that are from Galway. Like, I can't think of one thing that they were like, yeah, we used to go and do this.
The only thing I can think of is going to play basketball, but that's at the Galway High School.
Yeah, like
So we're
it's
still in
at the
same
ball
boat.
field or whatever. But let's segue into our next topic. I think that's enough of those kind of life experience type discussions. I have a very interesting question for you guys this week.
All right.
Do you believe in ghosts? If so, why? If not, why not?
I do.
I've had so many discussions with Lily. My girlfriend and I have gone hours, bro. Travis, I know for a fact there's no way you haven't talked to Lindsay about this shit one night stoned. You're like, babe, are you sure that's the wind? Because it's made the same creak about 3 times in a row now. And then
I got a
that's
story.
all it takes.
Oh,
You have a story.
Yeah, so all right, first of all, I do believe in ghosts. I'm
Okay.
a firm believer in them. They're legit. If you think different, no.
No.
Yeah.
There's some type of spiritual activity out there, yes.
So one night, dude,
Probably.
me and Lindsay were actually stoned, like you just said, and all of a sudden, our front door, dude, starts like banging. I'm like,
What time was it, bro?
Yeah,
I think 12:01.
Okay.
of course.
A little bit
Late.
less nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in bed, and I'm like, Lindsay, someone's at the door.
Go check it out.
Lindsay, go check it.
I was bugging out,
Here's a shoe.
and she literally goes out, and I'm behind her with like I grabbed the first
You
thing
sent
I
her in
saw,
front,
dude.
bro.
I grabbed the first thing I saw. I was
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
What'd you just?
so I grabbed the first thing I saw, bro. And all of a sudden, we didn't realize that we left the one window open. Like I went outside, I went down the stairs, and I thought I heard people. And then like I saw something, and then she's like, "Hey, stupid, the window's open."
Damn.
And I literally like I lost it for a minute, and I'm sitting here laughing. I'm like, I believe in ghosts. I'm not scared of them though.
Bullshit. Everyone's scared of ghosts.
Yeah,
Yeah, you are, bro. You just said you got scared.
you did.
You were
just
tripping.
said You sent Lindsay first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 'cause
You know
wasn't
what I
sure if it was
mean?
an actual person or not.
So if it's an actual person, you're sending Lindsay out as a body shield.
Over the top.
Fucking
No, I
suplexing over his girlfriend.
So Lindsay's also a firm believer in shadow people. I don't know how you guys feel about them.
What does
the
that
fuck
mean?
Does that mean?
So
Are you talking about like skinwalkers or like?
Dude, that's my dream, bro. Remember how I was saying that earlier? They're like shadow people. Before we started the podcast, I said I wanted to talk about this dream that I keep having.
Yeah.
They're like shadow people, if I had to describe it. It's just like shadows. Like imagine what that would look like as a person. But there's like nothing. Like just like a scribble of a person.
That sounds
And
like
they're
some
all
demonic
around
type
me.
shit, bro.
They're all around me, right? Imagine, and they're full sprinting at me like this is like World War Z type of zombies. Sprinting at me fully in a circle and I can't go anywhere. And then once they finally get close enough where they probably, I don't know, eat me or whatever zombies do, I wake up.
interesting.
That just made me think of it. Sorry to cut you off.
That's
but that shadow person
terrifying.
thing. Yeah, bro. No, it's awful.
No,
It's
you're
happened
good.
3 times now over the
Lindsay's
span
a
of
firm
like 4
believer-
months.
Lindsay's a firm believer in the shadow people. Basically, like if you look into a dark room, or like you can just hear something, or you can like hear the floor creaking, just like small stuff like that. You hear stuff shuffling. That's what it is. And like you'll
Is
see,
shadow people, dude?
yeah, and you'll see these shadows like
You just mean like spirits?
no,
She
like
works with a lot of dead people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No, like I think what he means is like when you walk past your bedroom, like if you're walking down the hall and you walk past a room and there's a little bit of light in there and it looks like somebody's standing there type shit, or like that type of shit.
I get goosebumps like talking about it, but like literally, she'll look in the kitchen, and she'll say like, I haven't seen it yet, and I'm waiting for it, but like it'll just be a quick like pass by of something. Then she'll look, it's always in your peripheral.
you'll never
Yeah.
catch it head on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's always bugged out by that. That's always something interesting.
So like I'm a firm believer in ghosts, in terms of I do believe spirits get held on this earth for whatever reason, that they don't make their way into the afterlife. And one of the reasons why is because I also believe that the house that I grew up in, as y'all have been to, is haunted. Maybe not the house, but the land of some sort, whatever. The reason I think this is because when I was young, probably like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like in that age range from like 10 to 16, there was always like a supernatural occurrence within my house. And I swear to God, you can ask Trevor Gibson this because we used to hang out all the time. You can ask Brian Hancock. We called the ghost Roger. And this is a true story.
Roger.
And you can ask my sisters, Roger.
Okay.
That like it'd be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You'd hear something crash out in the kitchen. You go out there, a cupboard would be open, wouldn't be closed, or like you'd think you heard like a glass drop, nothing be out there, and like this. We had a dog, Jake. he was in his cage at night. He was never left out at night. He was always in his crate and slept all night in his crate. So like we knew it wasn't the dog, and like sometimes our uncle would get up and he'd go out there, but like we'd go out there when we'd hear something and there'd be nothing out there. Well, this one night, bro, and this leads to a dumb ending, but this one night, it's like 3:00 in the morning, and I'm on Skype with Haley at the time. This is before we really started dating. We were just talking, and there was just a clicking noise, like constant, like kept doing it.
Hear whatever noise you just made.
Oh yeah, just you'll be able to hear in the
like
podcast. Discord has really good.
Like you're starting a stove.
Yeah, kind of like an ignition click for like a lighter. Don't worry, the podcast will be able to hear. Discord just has really good noise suppression, but like it's like this click noise, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So like I open my door and I walk out, and like it's pitch black, so I turn some lights on. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And like I'm bringing Haley with me, like she heard it, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm freaking out. I was home alone, like, and again, I'm only like fucking 16, so like many people know I don't smoke weed or do anything like that. So I'm not stoned. Like, it's me generally fucking hearing this shit and tweaking. Like, I was freaking the fuck out. And, like, 20 minutes goes by, and I'm just sitting in my room watching TV, like, and Haley could tell I was very distraught. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ultimately, this whole time I'm thinking it's Roger fucking with me. Ultimately, this giant-ass grasshopper, dude, like 4 inches long on the top of my door, clicking its legs together.
No way.
Yeah, just like, you know how a cricket sounds, like it usually chirps. Yeah. Nah, clicking like one of those things at a time, making me tweak. Is like the biggest instance of me being like, holy shit, I'm going to die to like some demon. And then like I've also had instances where I've physically seen like my old dog Monk, the Great Dane I mentioned, like physically seeing him and like thinking he was like there, or just little shit like that. My dad has always told stories of the shop. I don't know if it's their current shop or the one that they had before they became HFM Bosie's, of this little Amish boy that was in their fucking that like died on the land or whatever, and like he would appear in their like tire rack. Like in the tire room above the garage, he would go up to get tires, and like he'd be sitting there, and like, oh yeah, like fucking yeah, wow, I'm getting goosebumps right now, dude. Yeah, like real shit. It's fucking crazy.
Speaking of like all of this type of shit, dude, my sister. Oh, I don't know if I ever said, but I definitely believe in them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you did say
if
that.
It's ghosts or what, but
they're out there.
Yeah, whatever it is, something's there. But Cadence and her friend Kendra from Mayfield. I don't know if you guys.
I'd have to know the last name.
Dallas Hines' little sister.
I do know Dallas, but I didn't know he had a sister.
Yeah. It's Cadence's best friend. Anyways, when they were younger, Travis probably knows what I'm talking about. When they were younger, they like tried to make their own like Ouija board. Yeah, because they were just mad weird. Dude, I low key, should I go get her for this story, because she knows exact. I only know like Spark Notes.
I mean, we don't have to.
But dude, basically, like it got destroyed by its own, like burnt down. This Ouija board that they made.
No way, dude.
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I thought about getting there, because it's a whole mess. But
bro, I have a story from my childhood that I just thought about that I definitely want to share with you guys. You both know, like, I used to have a go-kart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, my backyard to my house was basically like a rectangle, so I used to do like a figure 8, and I'd go out and drift around the corners, act like I'm cool, all that stuff. So you guys know I flipped it one time going around one of the corners, right?
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
And so the reason for that is there was a dog that I don't know whose it was. It might have been like the neighbors, but it was buried on our yard. But like kind of back a little bit, like not in our yard, on the dirt trail that I would
just kind of close enough.
So one time I'm I'm riding the go-kart and I'm going around this corner and my eye gets caught. I see a dog and it's white run up my lawn.
That's
What?
wild.
Yeah, so my eyes get caught on that, and that's the reason why I flipped the go-kart.
That's fucking insane.
And the dog never came back. I saw it once for like a split second. Obviously, then crashed. Never saw it for my next 12 years of living there.
That's fucking wild.
And it
Do you
was white
So
like
do
a
you
ghost.
think it was a dog, or do you think
No, like it looked faded, and that's
just
what caught my
couldn't
attention at
Faded?
first. Yeah,
like
like white.
blurry?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and that's what caught my attention at like 10 or 11 years old was like, what's going on right now, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I crashed and I never saw it again.
So
You
like,
guys ever hear the theory where, like, if you're like a baby, you know what I mean, like younger type age, you
And
can actually like see that shit?
oh
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
was my
Like
point I was gonna make.
that's the whole like premises of like paranormal activity movies is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that dogs and children can see that shit for some reason.
I would tweet, bro. What would you do if all of a
As
sudden
a
your
kid,
kid
you would
just
think
starts
it's
like
normal.
floating? You know what I mean? Just start hitting one of these, and then it
It's a
attacks
180.
you. Yeah, dude. Like,
And then just fucking flies at you. Yeah, that'd be wild, bro. So like, speaking of like the Amish boy story, and the white dog Blur, what do you guys think about the afterlife, man? So like again, I firmly believe that there are spirits left on this earth that for whatever reason do not pass on to whatever the afterlife may be. What do you think of the afterlife? So I don't, as far as I know, none of us are super religious people. None of us really attend church on any type of
Not
regular
even.
basis. So what do you guys think of the afterlife, like
So,
generally?
like, what we think it is, or what are you asking?
Yeah, like what do you guys think of the afterlife? Like what do you think it is?
Uh,
What do you
Well,
believe in?
for starters, I do believe in reincarnation. Um,
All right, hold up. What are you coming back as?
valid question.
That's a good question.
that
Because
is a
like
good
obviously
question.
it's based off of like what you do in life, if that's the case.
Right.
So like at this point in life, what do you think you're coming back as?
I don't know, to
A
be honest.
97 Corolla.
No, it's got to be an animate object because like it's got to be a living organism.
No, I don't know how it works. Like,
Well, you're reincarnated, so if you're a living organism, you can't come back as like a piece of wood, like.
well,
Maybe-
no. I
But
know
it could
that.
be
I
a
mean,
tree,
Like, I don't
like.
know. Oh, true. I
maybe-
don't know. That would be.
Yeah, that's something I'd have to think on for sure.
I'd be a.
I really
Little
anticipated a
zombies.
better answer following that.
I was really trying to think of something because it was a solid ass question, and I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
I
a
let
very
you down.
solid question, I think. And
I let you down on
you guys
that
are
one.
both letting me down here.
Yeah,
I think if I came back, I would either want to be a dog, like,
Yeah,
or
Okay.
I think I would want to be not a shark, but like definitely a sea turtle, bro.
I think I'd want to be a
No.
horse-sized duck.
Or solid answer.
Okay.
I was just about to say I think a horse would be cool, like a racehorse, because I can't be a race car.
I don't know if I'd
Racehorse.
want to be a racehorse. See,
I think I'd want to come back as a panda.
you and these pandas, bro.
Yeah, dude, you got like
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
There's something there.
Yeah, dude.
There's a connection for sure.
I think like so my afterlife, I think my belief in that really gets tied into like I don't know if you guys had to read it in high school, but I did. It was called The Five People You Meet in Heaven, and for the long that was one of the only
Yes.
books I read and enjoyed in high school. I didn't read a lot of books in high school, and
I
it was
totally forgot about it.
it was a really good book. The movie
well.
sucked. We watched the movie after the book, and I was like, wow, this did a terrible job. Like, I wish I never read the book because I probably would have enjoyed the movie. But I was really glad I read the book, and for a while after that, I was like, how sick would that be? The five people you meet in heaven. Not necessarily the five people you look up to the most or the five people that you love or want to see, but the five people that whoever is holding that type of whatever, call it God or whoever you want, Almighty Jesus, whoever you think runs the afterlife, picks out the 5 people that had the largest impact on your life. So not to spoil the book, definitely go read the book. But the 5 people the main character meets in heaven, is a little girl, which I'm not going to spoil for you. But he meets this little girl. I'm not going to explain who it is because it would ruin the story. But the little girl, he meets his old army sergeant. He meets, I think, a young lady, someone else, and then his final person is his wife, who had passed before him. And he obviously questions why am I not here? Like, and it was on their wedding day, or it was a celebration of those two, or her birthday or something. Is her heaven was like a party with all her family and stuff there, and basically I don't think it ever got into what his heaven was, but I really think that'd be probably the dopest way to figure out like how good of a person you were, who had the biggest impact on your life. But what I want when I die is like a fucking stat sheet of like everything in my life. Like, how many times did I speed? How many times did I take a shit? How many times did I send a text? Like,
slept?
Yeah, like I just want like dumb statistics. I want to be able to look at anything, and that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, going into whatever heaven or hell, you get to see that one time. Like, I want to be able to pull that up at any time, and be like, oh yeah, man, how many times did you take a shit? Or like, how many times did you fucking send a text?
Hear me out though.
What?
If they have all of our stats on that shit, we're in a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
simulation
type shit. Yeah.
Bro, are you guys familiar with your angel number?
I am not.
No,
I know what it is, but I don't know mine personally.
I've heard of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because that's something I have been like talking about randomly with like several different people the past year. Somehow it kind of just keeps coming up, is like people keep seeing these set of numbers, like we'll say 3 3s, for example, 333. You'll see it in like several different aspects in different forms,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be your angel numbers. So I don't know. I didn't know if you guys like knew about that, or
I know of it,
I
but
just-
I don't know what
yeah.
mine personally is, or like what the definitive like meaning behind them are. If I had to guess, like I would hope mine would be 42. Like I know that's not possible, but I would hope that would be it. Because like what was really funny during college was Cody used to always look at the clock and it'd be like 3:42, 1:42, and he would always like fucking screenshot it. Like at least once a day, a random time, he would send it to me in college and be like, "Yo, it made me think of you." Like I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like my clock, every time I check my clock, it's 42, and like that was just always something that was wild to me. It was just like that little fact.
yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was just a wild thing. But I think we've kind of talked about these little things enough. Do you guys want to transfer into our sports segment?
I think we should. We
Okay.
should.
Yeah, I mean we're about an hour in, so this is a good time to switch over. We're definitely going to be going over what we normally have, so a little extended episode for everybody out there listening and watching. Yeah, woo! Yahoo! Big summer blowout. What do you guys want to start first? So we did do our power rankings. We did do that. Do you guys want to do that first, or do you guys want to talk about some headlines? What do you guys want to talk about first?
We should probably hit a few headlines because I feel like our power rankings are gonna take a second.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, guys.
But
Start away, boys.
First thing that comes to Donovan Mitchell trade.
Indeed, that was probably the biggest news of the week. I think
Yep.
for the NBA at least, that was the biggest news.
So being a Knicks fan, one, I was very upset. Two, I've been seeing a lot of stuff.
What? Let's start out with what the trade included and why you're upset as a Knicks fan.
Okay, I'm not sure what the Cavs included. It was just
So I believe I'm gonna pull it up here real quick as I get flashbanged by my computer here.
Yep.
Let's
I know
see.
it was Laurie.
Colin Sexton.
I'm pulling it up
Colin
right
Sexton,
now.
Pick swaps.
So it looks like,
Something else.
damn. Of course, it's not like the first link on Google. Like,
It never
here,
will
let's
be.
see. The Cavaliers sent Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen, rookie wing Okai Agbaji. I definitely butchered that. And Colin Sexton. 3 unprotected first-round picks, So not for next year, but 25, 27, and 29. And then 2 pick swaps, which was 26 and 28, just for Donovan Mitchell. So to clarify, it's 3 current players, 3 future first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So they're basically getting 2 picks and Donovan Mitchell.
Wow.
That's a lot. But it's
Yeah.
not right now wins.
Right.
No.
It's not right now players.
The problem that I have, so I've been seeing stuff going around that Danny Ainge literally, took a little bit less out of spite because he wanted 5 first rounds from New York,
Yeah.
plus at least 3 to 4 young players. Like,
I think
he was
I think
literally
if I'm the Cavs, I'm taking 5 picks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Knicks, I'm not doing that trade because if it's just for 5 picks, sure, send them. Because I think the Knicks right now are in a better situation to win sooner
Yeah.
than
Agree.
trading those players away to the Cavaliers for 1. However, I do think this makes the Cavaliers a very high championship contender. They have players to win now. Whereas if the Knicks trade away the players that they have to at least be a contender, they won't win for years. And then you'll have another Melo situation where they can't get anybody around them.
I think the Cavs in the next probably like 3-ish years, like within that window from like now to 3 years from now, they're gonna they're all really young. Like Donovan Mitchell's still what, like 26?
Yeah, I think it's
25.
26. Yeah.
And they managed to keep Jared Allen and oh my god, what's their rookie's name? Evan Mobley. And then they still have Garland, dude. Like that's a nice. And then they got K Love coming off the bench.
Man, I forgot he's still in the league. Bro, is
bro.
is Kyle Korver still in the league or did he finally retire?
Dude, he retired a couple years ago.
I just remember thinking like every year they'd be like, "Oh, Kyle Korver like hit this many
There he
threes or whatever,"
is.
and you're like, "Damn!" Like I always used to think he was young, and then I was like, "Holy shit, yeah, he was in like the 2007 All-Star game and shit." Like, like he was around for a good time
With
a
that
good
bowl
time.
haircut, you know?
Yeah, like
So
he was
Don't the
around for a
Cavs
while.
still have Karis LeVert too,
Yes.
so that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah,
That's
I think the
squad,
Cavs
bro.
are a legitimate contender. Another headline that, if y'all are good with that, I'm going to move on from the Cavs trade. I feel like we all
Covered
provided our opinion. I'm a Steelers fan, and one of the biggest questions was who's going to be the starting quarterback. They announced today via their official depth chart, that Mitchell Trubisky is going to be their Week 1 starter, which isn't the most controversial news. The more controversial news among Steelers fans today is that Mitchell Trubisky was number 1. Number 2, who would you assume?
Kenny Pickett.
Mason Rudolph, listed as the number 2 quarterback behind Mitchell Trubisky, and then Kenny Pickett, number 3. So,
That actually doesn't fully shock me.
I mean, it shocks me. I mean, a first-round pick, and Mason Rudolph didn't play stellar in the preseason.
No, he kind of sucked.
And Kenny Pickett was like 17 for 19 with 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in the
That's what's
preseason.
wild is how well Kenny played and Mason didn't, and they still went 2-3.
So what I think the reason is, and I've spoke to other Steelers fans, is they're so afraid of what happened in 18, 19, 20 to the Steelers when Big Ben got hurt and Mason Rudolph came in and then he got hurt, and then they had to pick up Joshua Dobbs after they cut him in the preseason and whatever, blah, 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 which when there was better options at the time. And then Rudolph got hit with a game suspension and so on and so forth. I think they're just scared of that situation happening again, which I understand, but I don't understand how they can list Mason Rudolph as a number 2. But I guess really it would be a smokescreen from Tomlin, like in a way of just kind of giving Mason Rudolph a bone, and he actually knows if Trubisky goes down or he sucks, Pickett's getting the job. I don't know. I don't understand why he would have put him 2 if that's not the play. Like, there's no way you're putting in Mason Rudolph, who has proved nothing in his career,
Yeah, I was gonna say
over
what has he
Kenny Pickett,
done?
who's our first round pick out of Pitt, like he's a fan favorite kid. I can't see it happening.
Mason Rudolph is known for getting bodied by Myles Garrett with that freaking helmet.
Yeah. Also, Aaron Donald, no game suspension so far.
Nothing.
Had two Bengals helmets. Like Myles Garrett goes after one guy, and as far as we know, it was a just action from what occurred on the field. Like it shouldn't have happened, and it should never happen in a game. But I mean, the guy, Mason Rudolph, from what I know, has said some things on the field, and it escalated in that situation. But who thought the fuck it was going to be a good idea for the Rams and Bengals to play in a joint team practice?
Yeah, what?
After
It
meeting
just
in the
finished
Super Bowl. And I know it's like common practice when they play in the preseason to practice against each other, but how is that a good idea?
Literally.
How is that a good idea?
Aaron Donald's out here dual wielding Bengals helmets, not even his own team.
Yeah.
He's got the other team out here.
Yeah. I think it's wild that he hasn't gotten a suspension. Another thing that's wild in the NFL is like the players that do deserve suspensions haven't been announced yet. I'm pretty sure Alvin Kamara is supposed to be suspended and he just hasn't yet.
Well, what? Why?
Didn't he have like an assault charge against him?
Yeah, it got dropped, didn't it?
I don't know.
One of my fantasy teams is riding on that charge.
I mean, me too, dude. He's on my team.
I'm sorry to whoever.
So this is August 27th, 2022. Will New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara be suspended? So a lot of changes this offseason. This is like live. I'm reading this right now. Here's everything we know so far. I have 27 ads from this site just opening right now.
Love it.
Yeah, trying to find the rest of the story. Just waiting for all of these to close. Read more. There we go. Yeah.
I knew it was a possibility.
It's becoming increasingly likely that Kamara will not face any discipline from his February arrest. Okay, so that's that. Even though like he probably should have been, but I guess the charges were dropped. His next court appearance isn't until September 29th, just 3 days before the Saints Week 4 game. Yeah, so that's good news, I guess, for fantasy fans. Another big topic in the sports world right now is Aaron Judge. So the Yankees, for who I know you guys don't follow baseball a lot, the Yankees were at one point in time in the season before the All-Star break projected to hit a record-breaking number of wins. They were going to eclipse like 116 wins this year in the regular season. That's not including playoffs. To give you an idea, the Red Sox were the best team in baseball in 2018, and they won 119 games throughout the entire season, including the playoffs, won the World Series. So that's a pretty big deal. They have since fallen off a cliff, and they had a 15 or 16 game lead on second place in their division. It's now down to like 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, whatever it is.
Really?
You think it was Joey Gallo?
I don't think it was Joey Gallo. I think it's just
Dude, they traded him.
No baseball team can stay that hot all year. That's one thing that always surprised me about the Red Sox, and you can ask Travis and Will this. I said all year I didn't talk single shit because I didn't say a single thing to Will about the Yankees and the Red Sox that year because I knew it was going to eventually happen, and it never did, and I was super fortunate.
It never did.
But no team can stay that hot for that long. But the one person that has stayed that hot for this long on that team is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hit his 54th home run today.
Dude's a monster.
He needs to hit 7 more, I think, to tie or break Maris's record of 61.
Games are left.
I think it's 25, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds legitimately doable. I don't know. Maybe not.
So, I think it's like 25 or 28, something like that. So, I mean, it's definitely doable. Like, he's pacing.
Like it's in the
He's definitely
like
pacing.
Possible. So is.
And I don't want it to happen. With all of my being, I will do whatever I can to not see that happen.
That would be, dude.
Because I don't want to see Aaron Judge win the MVP.
Then I don't want to hear Will.
I don't want to hear
That's
Will.
part of it, of course.
Are you
But
kidding me?
I just,
hear my mom.
as a
I
Red
don't
Sox
wanna hear
fan, man, I don't want to live with that. I don't want to live with Aaron Judge, a modern-day player, breaking that fucking record because that's going to be something we live with forever. And Aaron Judge winning an MVP is something Yankees fans are going to shut up about because he should have won it in 17. And I don't want to fucking hear that, dude. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't care if he's one of the best hitters of baseball. I don't like the guy. He may be a good person, but I don't want to see him up against me on a baseball field. And that's all that matters. To confirm, the Yankees have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 games left. So I was almost right on.
Okay,
20
you were right in the ballpark.
So he can do it. He needs 7 in 28 games.
Yo, Pujols only needs 5.
Yeah,
for
Pujols hits it.
700?
Like I said,
Alright.
he's going to come down to like the last 3 or 4 games, and he's going to need like 2, and he's going to get in the 8th or 9th inning, and they're going to be losing by like 10, and pitchers are just going to be like, they're going to lob it up to him. So I'm not stressed about that. He's hitting 700.
I hope. That'd be sick.
I do think. What do you guys think of the college football landscape this week? A lot of big games week 1, dude, for non-conference games.
I wasn't paying the closest attention because I was working.
Did you guys see the Florida State LSU game?
Yes.
That is probably going to go down as one of the craziest finishes in sports history or one of the best football games in college sports ever.
Yeah, that was insane.
I also saw. Did you see that the Notre Dame?
I hate Notre Dame.
Dude, my mom.
I know.
Loves.
And it upsets me.
I know it does.
How can you be considered a top 10 football team, a top 5 football team every year,
They're not.
and you haven't won a championship in 25 years?
They're not.
Haven't been competitive in 25 years.
They play bum teams
Every
all year, all season, and then they lose to like Cincinnati
Yeah.
or like.
Also, Cincinnati. Do you guys think Cincinnati makes CFP this year?
No.
Okay, follow-up question. They just announced NCAA is moving to a 12-team CFP by 2026. It might be 25. I think it's 26.
Oh, okay.
And that's just because of the time the deal ends. I think it's a good idea. Like, a lot of people have wanted it. It's more college football, and who's going to complain about it? But the biggest problem with it, man, is it's going to be the same teams anyways because you're going to get – I mean, look at the top 4. You have Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia. Who makes it? Alabama, Georgia. Cincinnati makes it, and they got crushed.
Yeah.
You got Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and let's say Florida State. Alabama, Georgia. Like, any way I think of it, it's going to be the same 4 teams or same 6 teams that make it to the finals every year.
Yeah.
It's never going to change. Like, that's the thing about Ohio State.
Problem.
Like, you have Notre Dame, and this was an argument we got. Not really an argument, a discussion of how I don't think Notre Dame's a good college football team. They're okay. I just don't think they're championship level team. And not one person makes that team. And if you don't have a winning team, you don't win national championships, you don't sell tickets. The only reason Notre Dame sells tickets is because of their history. It's the same reason why Yankees still sell tickets and have their fan bases because they've won 27 championships before. They haven't won a World Series in 12 years. Like, that's never going to fade is what I'm saying. But, like, if you have a team, let's say Cincinnati, you have all these fans now because they've been competitive for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like really competitive. They don't make it this year or next year, but they make it in the 12th. Like if they don't go to the 12-team playoff, and Cincinnati doesn't make it the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to have a situation where Cincinnati's football team is just not selling more than student tickets. And that's my thing with Notre Dame is Notre Dame shouldn't have the fans they do. But because they were so good, they still have them. And that's why they're able to still recruit players because people will watch them play just based off of their history. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have a huge market. When was the last time you sat down and was like, yeah, I'm going to watch a Notre Dame football game today?
Almost every college football weekend, but that's
because your mom's a fan. But that's what I'm saying. Like, college football is so huge down here. And I always said, like, oh, I'm an Alabama fan. Always was when I was a kid because they were winning. But now, like, it's just I don't follow it enough to be like, oh, I'm an Alabama fan. And, like, I don't want to be a Bama fan, but I also don't know how to get attached to a college football team, man. Like, I don't know how to fall in love with a college football team. For basketball, I was always a Cuse fan just because being in New York, that was always the competitive college basketball team. But I wouldn't say they were my favorite team. So, like, now if I become, let's say, an Oklahoma Sooners fan, do I have to like the Sooners basketball team? Or can I like whoever I want? Like, how do I choose?
always thought that's
I haven't
weird.
had to
Do you
choose
have
a
to
favorite sports team since I was like 10.
I know. This is a big decision.
I don't
Do
know
you
how to.
have
Maybe I should run a
commit?
poll.
Like, if you pick a college, do you have to commit to all of their sports?
I
Because
don't
I feel
know.
like that's weird.
Or
'Cause,
maybe
like,
maybe
me
what I should do is
personally-
choose like a new team every year.
That'd be cool.
Be like run a poll like who are we cheering on this year? Like who are we going full tilt for?
Yeah, there you go.
I need to figure out who I'm gonna like, man. I think we should probably get into our NFL power rankings. We are pretty deep into this podcast right now at an hour
You're
and 20
right,
minutes.
Yeah, we've been rambling.
So let me give y'all, I was going to tell you guys the other day kind of how I figure this up. So the week one is obviously really tough. So week one, we don't have any statistics on any team, but how I typically do this, and I've done this in the past by myself, and I want to bring it to the podcast and kind of get all three of our minds kind of in on this. So normally how I would do it is I take all three of our opinions and weight them by 2. So where we think all of the teams are right now in their respective categories. We break it down from AFC to NFC and then go from there. So normally how we would do this is we would have all that. So once week 2, week 3 rolls around is when you'll start to see this actually come into play, as I take into account their record in their respective division, what type of win streak they're on, how many points they've scored, how many points they've scored against, what their point differential is. So I'm trying to scroll through all this stuff. Point differential is their passing yards per game, rushing yards per game, plus what they allow per game in rushing and passing, how many sacks they have, takeaways, turnovers, third down conversions, penalties, and their strength of schedule. And what I mean by I take all those factors in, is where they rank respectively in their conference from 1 to 16. So I take where they rank from 1 to 16, put it all in, and I average out all of those categories plus where we think we're going to finish, or where they are currently in our own heads, where we think they are in our power rankings, where ESPN has them ranked and where Bleacher Report has them ranked and where they were ranked in the previous week. Average all that out from a 1 to 16 average, and that gives us a number. So for this week, our number one ranked is, I believe, the Bills. Their average ranks across these stats, which, again, week 1 isn't those stats. It's just firmly our opinions weighted twice, divided by 2, and where ESPN and Bleacher Report rank them, as well as where they were ranked last year during ESPN's final ranking. So what the Bills average out to be is 1.18. The NFC's number 1 seed ranks out to 1.55. The next team would be another NFC team, which is 1.82. The next team hops back to the AFC, which is 3, and I just go along the list. So each team is going to rank between a 1 and 16 of each conference, and then I just run down the list of who has a better score, So that
Bro,
now that
we were talking,
go ahead.
Sorry, when we were talking about this in the group chat, like trying to figure out how to rank these teams, I felt like I was having a stroke, bro. I was like,
that's why I said
don't
it's
know
easier
why
to
I
explain in
can't
person
figure
because
out
it's a
what-
lot to type. So again, week 1 is going to be completely different because we ranked ESPN Bleacher Reports, and then we just took ours and weighted them by 2. Next week when we have stats, these numbers could change drastically. Like you could see the Bills fall to 8th or 9th. That's why like our opinions are weighted by 2 in this calculation, because I don't want somebody, just because the Bills don't get a sack in week 1, they fall down to 5th or 6th, because in reality they still won the game, so on and so forth. I want to be able to make sure like it stays at least a little bit consistent. But once you get into week 8, 9, 10, these statistics are going to start to solidify where that team's going to end up finishing around week 17, week 18, because it's actually statistic and not just opinion based. It's not just me going on Facebook and being like, oh, this is where us three think they're going to finish. It's where we think they're going to finish, backed by statistic calculation. You know what I mean? So our opinions are in this, but it's an average of all their stats, of the important offensive and defensive stats. So our week 1 power rankings go as such, gentlemen. At number 1, and I know you guys already know this, but at number 1, we have the Bills first overall. I think that's pretty obvious. They're the best team in the AFC. At number 2, we have the Rams. They finished the best team in the NFC last year. I think they're going to continue to be the best NFC, at least for the first few weeks of the season. There's going to have to be somebody that steps up, and the NFC is atrocious this year. I don't think the NFC is going to produce a lot of good teams. I think there might be 4 or 5 good teams, and they're going to be the playoff teams, and everybody else is going to be a far shout for the playoffs. I mean, I don't think the NFC is good at all.
This season, it is so... Dude, the AFC is so incredibly stacked.
Yeah.
And the NFC is bad for NFC standards that it's just like...
I know a winner from each division needs to make it, but an NFC South team, probably besides the Bucks, isn't going to make the playoffs this year. And I don't think the Bucks they'll finish 10-8 or 10-7.
The Bucks?
Yeah. I bet you they finish 10-7. Going on to number 3, we do have the Bucks. They were the runner-up last year in the NFC, and they didn't really lose a ton of people. They lost Gronk, but they did get I think they got Hunter Henry was their replacement. I might be mistaken on that. They did get another
Kyle
10.
Rudolph?
Maybe.
I thought it was Kyle Rudolph.
It's a veteran tight end, and that's what matters. Might be Kyle Rudolph, though, now that you say that. Number 4, we do have the Bengals. I also do want to state that in our power rankings, we do show what our differences between ESPN are and Bleacher Report are. The Bills also have, or the ESPN also have the Bills ranked first. The Rams, they have ranked third. We have the Rams and Bucks swapped. They have the Bucks ranked second. And then they have the Bengals ranked fifth. We have them fourth. Again, those are your top 2 teams in the AFC, NFC. It just happened to pan out. That's what their average was this week. At 5, we have the Packers, who are up 1 on ESPN. ESPN has them ranked 6th. Woo. We have them 5th. They're going to be a competitive team regardless of what their wide receiving core looks like this year. Number 6, we have the Chiefs. The ESPN has them ranked 4th. I don't think we can rank them 4th. They were really spotty last year, man, and it really comes down to their depth is what's going to come to a factor of whether they finish in 10th or 1st this year, of who can stay healthy, who can they get in as backups. And number 7,
defense.
Yeah, their defense is the same story. Number 7, we have the Chargers, who are up 1 from ESPN. They have them ranked 8th. We have them 7. I think it comes down to their offense is better, their defense is better. Their offense didn't get stronger. It's just that it's another year under Justin Herbert, who now has a year under his belt after a 5,000-yard rookie year. Set the rookie touchdown record. So that puts him 7th. One that kind of I really hate to see is the Cowboys 8th. I hate seeing the Cowboys in any type of successful position. ESPN has them ranked 10th. What'd you say?
I said you're telling me, buddy.
I am telling you, yes. The Cowboys are 8th, up 2 from ESPN. ESPN has them ranked 10th. I think the Cowboys fall anywhere between 15th and 10th by the end of the year. I can't see them going any higher than that. That's where I'm going to predict them to finish, is right between 10th and 15th. At 9, we have the 49ers. Everyone is high on the 49ers, despite Trey Lance being an unproven quarterback. Everybody has them ranked in the top 10. Everyone. In fact, ESPN has them ranked, let's see. I just got to pull it up here. ESPN has them ranked 4th.
Whoa.
ESPN has them ranked 4th. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I feel like the Niners have a good surrounding core.
1,
so
2,
it's
3, 4, 5. Bleacher Report has them ranked 7th.
Wow.
They have a really solid team. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. But the big question mark is Trey Lance. And I think by the end of the year, Trey Lance is going to be a top 15 quarterback. The question is how much is he going to be able to throw the ball? He's a very mobile quarterback.
Weeks, you know?
Yeah. I think week 3 through or week 1 through 5 are really going to be a testing proving ground. At number 10, we have the Titans, who are up 1 from ESPN. They have them ranked 11th. I don't see how the Titans can be ranked outside the top 10. They were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. Yes, they lost their number 1 wide receiver. Their defense is about the same. Their offensive line has always struggled. But, I mean, you don't get the number 1 seed for nothing. Granted, you got bounced out by the Bengals, who won by a field goal. They won every game by a field goal last year. So
every season.
I don't see how anybody can rank the Titans outside the top 10. And that's not just me being a fan of that organization. It's legitimate. They're going to be a contender.
They have Henry healthy.
Derrick Henry's back. He's going to be healthy all year. He's going to rush for fucking 1,200, 1,500 yards. It's not going to matter. And they got Treylon Burks. He's going to do thoroughly well. He's going to have a 800-yard receiving season. Just promising you both those that. Clip this, ship it, bring it back up at the end of the year. Henry's rushing for 1,500 yards. 12 touchdowns, and Treylon Burks is going to have an 800-yard, 5-touchdown season minimum. And the other reason I say 5 touchdowns is because they have other weapons. I'm calling it right now. Clip it and ship it. At 11, we have the Ravens, who ESPN has them ranked 9th. I think 11 is a good spot. The Ravens are a huge question mark, finished last in the division
so
last year.
weird.
And a lot of people forget that. The Ravens finished last in the AFC North last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns all beating them. They're a huge question mark. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
At 12, we have the Cardinals, which shockingly ESPN has ranked 18th, and I think Bleacher Report has them right around 20th. That's just because they're a shit second half team. But I do think the Cardinals are going to finish in the top 15. I think they earn a playoff spot this year if they're lucky and can beat out the Rams or the 49ers. They have to beat out one of those two teams. Only two teams are making it out of that division in the playoffs this year. At 13th, we have the Eagles, who are +2 from ESPN. They had them ranked 15th. I think that's high for the Eagles. I know the Eagles are like just a couple pieces away. They can be real contenders, but I just can't ever – I don't know why. I can't picture the Eagles being a good team. Call that me shit-talking. Call that me just hating on them. Like, I don't care. Hot take, but fuck the Eagles. I can't see them as a good team. When they won the Super Bowl, nobody thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. Nobody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I stand by that. Number 14, we have the Colts. That's the second similarity we have with ESPN this week. Colts are 14. They're an average team. Matt Ryan's their quarterback. You know he's going to be able to throw the ball decently. They have Jonathan Taylor. He can run the ball. I could not tell you a wide receiver on the Colts off the top of my head. That's
Pittman.
Who?
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman, okay. And their defense, they have a top 7 defense, top 8 defense. I don't know if it's top 5, but it's definitely like top 7, top 8.
Bro, besides Jonathan Taylor, though, the Colts are just very mid.
Yeah, they're a consistent team. Like, they're going to challenge you on every play, but they're not going to just downright burn you on every play.
Exactly.
Our biggest difference of the week between ESPN this week is number 15, we have the Vikings. ESPN, Bleacher Report, both down on the Vikings this year. Really? +8. They have the Vikings at 23. We have them at 15. I think the Vikings are huge contenders. They got a new coaching staff this year. They got Justin Jefferson. They still have Adam Thielen. I can't remember their running back off the top of my head. I don't know why I'm drawing.
Cook.
Yep, Dalvin Cook. Don't know why I was drawing a blank on that. He's a top 5 running back. I have another topic to bring up after this once we get to the Giants, and Travis, you're going to hate me. But it's a hot take, and I firmly believe in it. Vikings 15, Raiders 16. ESPN has them ranked 13th, down 3 spots. Raiders always compete. Broncos finished last year. I think the Broncos got out of it this year was Russell Wilson, but they lost Von Miller. I think the Raiders are an underappreciated team this year by a lot of people. I think the Broncos finish under the Raiders this year. Broncos 17th, -5. ESPN has them ranked 12th. I'm sorry. Yeah. They have a decent offense. Their defense is mediocre. And I don't see Russell Wilson coming in and making that large of an impact. If you look at Russell Wilson last year in Seattle, how many wins did he have? Let's see. Let me look it up. If I'm not mistaken, it was under 7. Seattle Seahawks, 2021 record.
6.
Let's see. They went 7-10.
Son of a bitch.
And Russell Wilson, who just signed a 4-year, $100 million contract or whatever it was with the Broncos.
I thought that was wild because he's already, 33?
People play until they're 40. No, not a serious deal. But when you take a team that has a very solid offensive wide receiving core and a solid running back, Rashad Penny, okay, your offensive line isn't great. Your defense was meh. And you go 7-10. And you're literally plucking him and putting in a similar situation in Denver. I'm not high on the Broncos this year. Not high on the Broncos. They miss the playoffs. Maybe they make it next year with some improvements. The Saints at 18th, we have them up 2. ESPN has them 20th. Patriots 19th, we have them down 3. Everybody's high on the Patriots. They have them 16th, the top 16 team. I just don't think they're there.
I just don't see it.
By the end of the year, they will be. They'll be a top 16 team. Right now, they're not. They have to. They have a lot to prove. Mac Jones needs to come out and do everything he can to lead that team this year. They have decent running backs. They have 3 or 4 running backs like the Patriots always do. They lost James White to retirement, but I think they're still a solid running team. And they're going to have to be because Mac Jones, I think, again, he's got a lot of prove this year. Dolphins, we have at 20th. Everybody's low on the Dolphins, and I think that's simply because Tua isn't the best ball thrower out there on the field. But they have a really good receiving core. They have an okay running back. Their O-line's mediocre. They have Mike Gesicki at tight end. Their defense is okay. But, I mean, they're at 20th, and I don't think they'll finish much higher than that. Maybe 18th, 15th, but I don't see them finishing in the top 16. At 21, we have the Commanders, our third and final similarity with ESPN. A lot of people are high on the Commanders this year. Carson Wentz is shit. I don't care what anybody says. He looked terrible in camp. He looked terrible in preseason. He's not a good quarterback anymore. I would take Cam Newton over Carson Wentz, and that's about the only quarterback I think in the NFL right now I'd take Cam Newton over. And I know we bring that up every podcast, and we probably will every week that we talk about football. At 22, we have the Panthers, and I really hope that pisses Will off. But everybody is down on the Panthers this year, as I think respectfully they should be. We rank them 22 because, again, the NFC is shit. So it works out that they're just a higher NFC overall average. ESPN, again, speaking about being down on the Panthers, has them ranked 29th. So it's not us, Will. It's the rest of the world, too. We have them ranked at 22nd. This isn't us fucking shitting on the Panthers. And if it was, the Steelers wouldn't be 23rd. The Steelers are the 23rd team. They have a big question mark at quarterback, which we already talked about. Their O-line has been hit or miss. Their defense is the top 5 defense in the league. I don't care what anybody says. They're going to be a top 5 defense. They've led sacks since 2019 when TJ Watt came into the league. They're going to be a top 5 defense again this year. Najee Harris is going to be healthy all year. We have 3 options at quarterback, and our wide receiving core is stellar. They're going to finish in the top 20. They won't make the playoffs. They're going to miss playoffs, but they will go positive and keep up Mike Tomlin's record. At 24, this is where my hot take comes in. The Giants will be a top 20 team. That's not the hot take. The hot take is Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley are no longer top 5 running backs. They barely make the top 10. I don't care what anybody says. They haven't been healthy in 2 years. They can't be a top 5 running back. Name 5 running backs off the top of your head right now better than them.
Better than both of them?
Yep. Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. That's 4.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is probably a hot take. Zeke, there's an argument to be made, but Zeke's fell off the last 2 years. I would say Zeke's probably 9th or 10th. I think they're top 10. I think they're probably 7, 8. They're not top 5. They have to prove it again this year. They haven't proved it in 2 years.
I agree with that.
A lot of people think it's a hot take. I don't think they can be top 5. They haven't played in 2 years. If Deshaun Watson can't be a top 5 quarterback because he hasn't played in 2 years, neither can Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey shouldn't have been taken in the first round, I think, of a lot. Well, he should have been taken in the first round. Should have been taken in the first 15 picks of the fantasy league this year. Derrick Henry probably shouldn't have been taken within the first 10 picks of the fantasy league this year because he was hurt all last year.
My hot take is that Saquon can be top 5.
I think he can be. He's not right now, though.
Right.
Not with the team that he's got blocking for him.
And this is going back to Derrick Henry too, man. Like Derrick Henry he's a top 2 running back. And the only reason I think that, even though he was hurt for 8 weeks last year and came back for a few snaps in the playoff series against the Bengals, is he had 900 rushing yards in 9 games last year, or 8 games.
That's
like
nuts.
That's him pacing 2,000 yards again, 2 years in a row. So that's the difference between Saquon and Christian McCaffrey got hurt 2 years in a row. Whatever.
The Giants made a lot of changes to that O-line. I'm hoping it's better. It has to be a little bit better. It can't get any worse. We can all agree on that.
It can't get any worse.
And I'm praying.
PJ's like, I mean, it could. It could. I don't think it would. I think the Giants,
it'd be difficult.
24th right now. They'll be a top 20 team. Moving on is Lions are 25th, Browns 26th. I think they'll finish higher than that. A lot of people are high on the Browns still, even with Deshaun out for 11 weeks. To give you an example, it's our biggest downgrade from ESPN. They're -9, so ESPN has them at 18th or 17th. ESPN has them at 17th. We have them at 26th. I don't see how. The Seahawks, we have at 27th. That's respective. Bears at 28th. Jets at 29th. Jaguars at 30th. Falcons 31st. Texans 32nd. The reason why I bursted through those is because, well, there's not much to fucking say about those shit teams. There is one team I want to bring up out of those 6 teams that I just ran through. Is the Jaguars. The Jaguars will finish probably 24th, 25th. Their offense, man, if Trevor Lawrence figures out his interception problem, they're going to be an issue. They're going to be an issue. Their defense is where it's going to come into play. They're going to have to score just as much as they allow.
They'll have to keep up, but
it's going to be hard. He's got to figure out his interception problem, but he could finish in the top 25 of the league. Conference with the most teams in the top 16. Both conferences are even. It's week 1. That'll probably change, but it'll probably hover right between 6 and 8 for both conferences at all times. Division with the most teams in top 16. Again, even for both. No biggest mover, no biggest loser this week. It's week 1. We did have 3 similarities with ESPN. We also had 4 with Bleacher Report. There are 6 teams that I put on our teams to watch list this week. It's the Browns. Again, you have no idea what you're going to get out of Jacoby Brissett, so they could make a huge jump week 2. Steelers, they could also make a huge jump week 2. They play the Bengals week 1. You have no idea what they're going to see. Mitchell Trubisky's out there. The reason why they are really a team to watch this week is because at the time of making this, we didn't know who was going to be the quarterback. So, again, it just really depends. I would probably put them somewhere between 23 and 25, right where we have them by next week. I don't see a lot of that changing now. Panthers, we have them at 22nd. I could see that taking a huge jump, man. Baker's got a lot to prove week 1 going up against the Browns. That's why they're on our teams to watch list. Jaguars, we just spoke about why the Jaguars could be a team to watch this week and this year in general. The Saints as well. The Saints got Michael Thomas back. I can't remember their rookie's name that they just drafted for wide receiver in this first or second round. He's solid. They have a really good wide receiving core. Alvin Kamara's not suspended. And, I mean, if we're being honest, Jameis Winston is not a bad quarterback. I can't remember who they're playing week 1. But, I mean, he's only 2 years out from a 5,000-yard season. Yes, we mentioned there's only 14 quarterbacks that have 5,000-yard seasons. Jameis Winston is one of them. He's one of them. People forget that. He threw for 5,000 yards for the Saints.
Yeah.
Team to watch. Put them on your list this year. Broncos, team to watch as well. The reason why they're a team to watch and could improve or go down, this is a game you're going to want to watch, man. Broncos versus Seahawks. Again, same thing as Panthers and Browns. It's a team you're going to want to watch. You're going to want to watch them week in, week out because Russell Wilson has something to prove going into week 1. I have no idea where they're going to go. Again, guys.
Baker.
What?
Baker has something to prove.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Baker has something to prove. Yeah, you're good. To run through our top 10, again, it's Bills, Rams, Bucks, Bengals, Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Cowboys, 49ers, Titans is your top 10 TKT power rankings of the week for the NFL. Guys,
I love it.
Do you guys have anything else you would like to talk about in this podcast? We are an hour and 42 minutes in, and I'm so happy we sat here and talked for 2 hours because we could do this all night, and I don't think anybody's going to complain. Yeah, minutes listened are going to be a little bit wild this week, but I think we were due for a good long sit-down discussion. We talked for, 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes about sports, and we talked for a full hour of just nonstop, just us and just conversation. Yeah. And I think that's what people really want. It's just a full hour of us talking about just random shit and a full hour segment of us talking about sports.
We definitely weren't off the wall. Like, it wasn't the funniest episode, but we definitely talked the most, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about being funny, my man. Sometimes it's about just getting your point across.
Well, a little of both wouldn't hurt nobody.
I thought we had some good laughs, man.
No, definitely. I wasn't saying like we were buzzkills out there.
It kind of seems like you're saying I'm a buzzkill, DJ.
No, dude, you actually carry this pod on your back, buddy.
No, I don't. But guys, I think that was a pretty good episode. I'm going to say thank you to all of our listeners. And if y'all enjoyed this podcast, be sure to check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as my YouTube channel at Wilder42K. On YouTube, you can watch all of our reactions and our facial expressions and movements and see all these gestures that we make that I think really add to fluidity of the podcast. But again, please leave a review, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So that way you're updated as soon as the podcast comes out. We release these at 6 a.m.
Hit that bell.
we release these at 6 a.m. every Wednesday. That way you can listen to us on your commute all day long. You don't have to listen to it in one shot. You can listen to it throughout your day, your weekend, whatever time you decide to listen to it. But please be sure to check us out on all the major platforms. And I hope you guys have a banger of a week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Peace.